Welcome to Medical Microbiology. I am Dr. Van Laar. I will be your instructor during this semester. I am a lecturer in the Department of Biology at Fresno State, and I'm a full-time faculty member in the Department of Biological Sciences at CSU Stanislaus. Medical microbiology is kind of my bread and butter. It's one of my favorite courses to teach. It was one of my favorite courses that I ever took. So I'm really passionate about this material. I really think it's a super important course for anybody who is considering going into any aspect of human health careers, whether you're thinking of going to medical school, becoming a clinical laboratory professional, dental school, pharmacy school. The understanding of microbes that cause human disease, how they cause human disease, how they can be treated, is absolutely critically important. And so in this course, you're going to learn a lot of material. It is a lot of work, and I will hold you to a very high standard, because for those of you who are planning on going into health careers, your understanding of this material really can be a matter of life and death for your patients. When we're talking about medical microbiology, there are four major categories of microbes: viruses, bacteria, fungi, and parasites. We will be discussing at least some members of all categories. There is no way for us to cover all members of all categories in a one-semester course. Those of you going on to more advanced education will certainly cover more of these than we will cover in this class, but you should get a nice foundation of all of these groups and the ones that are most common in causing human disease, particularly in the United States. Going into this course, I am assuming, because it's a prerequisite, that you took microbiology or Bio 120. But I'm also assuming that you remember Bio 120, you understand already the differences between these organisms, and so this is not going to be a rehash of basic microbiology. We're going to really dive into advanced medical microbiology right away. So if you end up needing a refresher on microbiology, you need to go back to your notes for Bio 120 and review those concepts. We will also talk a little bit about immunology as its own separate unit, but also when we talk about the individual pathogens as well. The reason that immunology is listed as a beneficial course to have taken prior to taking this course is because the immune system is really how our body can defend itself against damage, but also against microorganisms, which we're covering in this class. We will talk about, with each individual microorganism, how the immune system recognizes and responds, and how the microorganism can also fight back against the immune system. So we're going to talk a lot about immunology in later lectures. And the idea behind the immune system is that really we've got this delicate balance going on in our bodies between fighting an invader, right? Between fighting infection, but also protecting the host from damage. So we'll talk about a lot of different infections where the symptoms of the infection that we see, everything from rash to fever to shock, is actually caused by an overreaction of the immune system, not by the microbe itself. So why is it important to study medical microbiology? Well, those of you going into health professions, you need to have a deep understanding of the organisms. That is super important, because without that, you won't be able to recognize and then treat diseases. Sometimes students will say to me, well, why don't we have open book, open note? I can always look things up. And sure, that's true. You can always look things up in the workplace, but picture yourself in a doctor's office presenting with symptoms of a disease, and your doctor says, well, hold on, let me Google that for you. Right? How would that make you feel? It would make me get up and leave. right? I don't need a doctor who can, I can Google my own symptoms. I don't need my doctor to Google my symptoms. I need my doctor to understand what could be potentially causing a disease. So it's really important that you have this information in your mind and that you're able to at least come up with a few different possibilities for your patient. We have some organisms that cause pretty obvious disease. Ebola, tetanus, malaria. These are diseases that there really isn't much else that causes those types of symptoms. But what you're most commonly going to see as a health professional are diseases that don't have an obvious cause when you first look at it. So something like Staph aureus, it can cause flu-like symptoms. Well, you know what else causes flu-like symptoms? Flu, COVID, any number of other bacterial, viral, fungal infections. Wound infections can also be caused by Staph aureus, or strep, or candida, or any other type of bacterial or fungal infection. Food poisoning can be caused by Staph aureus, or Bacillus cereus, or norovirus, or any number of other organisms. So it's really important that when you see symptoms, you can at least begin to narrow down what potential organisms can cause those diseases. And we have some diseases that can be caused by many organisms. A patient presents with meningitis. Great. There's bacterial meningitis. There's viral meningitis. There's fungal meningitis. There's amoebic meningitis. How you treat all of those is vastly different. So it's really important, again, that you can differentiate organisms that cause multiple types of symptoms like Staph aureus, or how you can tease apart which organism is causing a particular symptom like meningitis. And of course, we have emerging infectious diseases. From the first time I taught this course back a number of years ago, we had Zika that was an emerging infectious disease. Of course, now we have things like COVID-19 and monkeypox. So medical microbiology is one of those fields that is not a static field. It's very dynamic. We're always learning new things, and it's really important to keep up with that type of material. And one of the other things I want you to think about is, where does disease come from? Most often, we talk about infections as being exogenous. They came from outside our own body. You got COVID because, you were around somebody who had COVID, or you got food poisoning because you ate something that was bad. But actually, the most common types of infections come from your own body. And we'll spend a lot of time talking about that, but I want you to think about that. Most commonly, you give yourself an infection. So, why do you think this is? And what I want to do right now is just briefly introduce you to our Canvas shell so you can see what the course looks like. Of course, things will be added and changed as the semester goes on, but you'll get a brief idea of what our course looks like right now. So here is the Canvas shell. When you go home, it's not published yet, so it'll be published in just a little bit. You'll see different modules. So the first module will have this introductory video where it has how-to guides. So how to do your weekly reflections, how to do peer reviews, how to use Perusal. These are all going to be tools that you'll need to include here. I'll create a module for your group project that will be found in the syllabus. More information about that will come out during the semester. And I'll have your modules for every week. Each week we'll have lecture material, a PDF of the slides, and then a video. Every week you'll do a reflection. And starting next week, you'll do a peer review of somebody's reflection. So it's really to look at how you're engaging with the material, how you're thinking about the material, and that you're keeping up with the material. So the week's assignments will always be found within the week's module. They'll also show up on your calendar or on your to-do list. You can find the syllabus right here, so you can download the syllabus. This shows old dates from old assignments. That is not what you will see because I will change all the dates for the assignments. You'll have quizzes periodically throughout the course. You'll have exams. You'll have a final exam. You have a group project. You have article readings. And all of those things can be found within our syllabus. So, of course, you can download the syllabus or it will open up on Canvas. I've already got the syllabus downloaded, so I'm going to bring it into view. So the introduction and course description. Here's how you can contact me. My office hours are not going to be set. They will be online. So you'll need to email me to schedule an appointment via Zoom. I will do my best to respond to emails within 24 to 48 hours, except on weekends and holidays. It will take longer than that. If you email me at 1 o'clock in the morning, don't expect a response until the next business day at the earliest. The course prerequisites are listed here. Recommended textbook is Medical Microbiology by Murray, Rosenthal, Kobayashi, Fowler, 9th edition. If you choose not to buy the textbook, that's on you. I think the textbook is actually really well written. It provides a lot of material that you can use to help better learn what we're covering in the course. But again, if you choose not to buy it, that's on you. You need to have your device, of course. Here's our course breakdown. The course is broken down by percentages, not by points. We have 4 exams. The exams are to be completed individually, no external resources. You will need to use Lockdown browser with the camera function for taking exams. There will be a semester-long group project, the details of which will be found on Canvas. That'll be worth 20% of your overall grade. You'll have to read journal articles and annotate them and provide summaries of the material you've read for 10% of your grade. It is really important that clinical professionals know how to read clinical literature, so that's why we're doing that. You'll have quizzes that will count for 10% of your grade. You can do those in a group if you want. You can use all your notes. So quizzes, fine, work with a group, use your notes, use the book, use the internet. Exams, just your brain. Your watching the lecture videos and writing your reflections and doing the peer assessment of reflections will be another 10% of your grade. And then your final exam will be 10% of your grade. It is comprehensive and it must be completed individually with no external resources. Okay. Your study expectations. I know this is an online course. You would imagine if we were meeting in person, we would meet in person 3 times a week for 50 minutes each time. So you should spend at least that much time going over the lecture videos, taking notes, with the expectation that you would have another 2 hours per hour as study time. So the idea would be 6 hours of study time at least outside of class. Meaning I would expect the average student to need approximately 9 hours a week studying and engaging with this material in order to be successful. Some students, you may be excellent students, you may really take to this material very quickly, you might need less time. Some students, you might find this material a little bit more challenging, which is fine too. You may need more time, but 9 hours per week working on this course, actively engaged with the material, is going to be the average. Here's the grading scale. If you earn more than 90% of the points, you get an A. If you earn between 80 and 89.99% of the points, you earn a B. This is a relatively standard grading scale. It is non-negotiable. Please do not email me at the end of the term and ask me to curve things. I won't be doing that. I take plagiarism and cheating very seriously. Any instance of cheating and plagiarism will result in a 0 for the assignment and a report to the university. A second instant in the same semester will result in you failing the course. You can read over the course goals and learning outcomes. The assignment and examination schedule will be found on Canvas. Course policies and safety issues. Exams will not be accepted late. Okay. I will open exams for a 48-hour period. They must be completed within that 48-hour period. If for whatever reason you're planning to be out of town during that 48-hour period, you must email me in advance to schedule the exam to be taken before you leave. So if you're an athlete, if you have university business, you have a planned vacation, you have to take your exam before. Okay. Other assignments will be accepted late with a 10% penalty per day for up to 7 days. And that does include weekends and holidays. We're not running on business time here. So if you turn in an assignment late and you think, oh, well, spring break, nope, 10% off every day. Any assignment turned in after 7 days will receive a 0. So you must turn in your assignment within 7 days. Intellectual property, all of the course material is generated by me. So it's my intellectual property. You may not share it with anyone else. You may not download the videos to share them with people. You may not share slides with people. You may not share notes with people. So they're mine. If you have any issues that you feel like you and I are not able to resolve, that is fine. You are more than welcome to contact Dr. Jason Bush, who is the chair of the Department of Biology. Here are links to university policies about students with disabilities, the honor code, cheating and plagiarism. Disruptive classroom behavior is the one we probably don't have to worry about since we're actually not meeting together. And then the copyright policy. The course is online. You can work through things at your convenience, but assignments will be due at specific times, and you are expected to keep up with those deadlines. Please see your calendar on Canvas for assignment due dates. So that's the course. If you have any questions or concerns, of course, you're free to email me. Assignment deadlines for reflections are always going to be on Friday evenings. Exams will generally be open on a Thursday and Friday. I will publish those dates within the next few days so you know what they are. And again, as a reminder, if you are planning to be out of town for university business, for athletic business, for whatever reason, you must schedule your exam before you leave. You will not be allowed to take the exam late. You must take the exam early.